My video for April the 16th, 2018 is entitled, Searching for Answers to Bring Real Change. I continue to wrestle with the paradoxes unfolding in my life and revealing my deep-seated insecurities. All my life, I was convinced that I was here on this planet at this time to play some role in bringing the kingdom of heaven to earth so that all sentient beings could experience the love, truth, and peace many of us long for at the deepest level of being. Of course, we experience the opposite. Instead of love, we face an unbridled self-centeredness that is oblivious to the needs of others in our circles of friends. Instead of truth, we encounter systems of lies and liars. Instead of peace, we see continuing attempts by some to initiate yet another world war between superpowers armed with weapons that can destroy most of the world. I not only see rivalry, I see a strong propensity on the part of many people to simply avoid the difficult questions and deny avenues where a search for solutions can be openly discussed. Personally, I feel extremely tired. At times, I simply want to throw in the towel, especially when so-called spiritual groups seem to dodge the challenges by choice. To me, it will never go away by simply ignoring it. Yeah. I had put enigmas in there, or conundrums, actually, I guess was the word that I used, and I changed it to paradoxes in the first sentence of the blurb. Because, of course, I published Paradox and have been known as the Paradox Man for a long time. And what is a paradox? It's seeming contradictions that may both be true. That's what it means to me. And I'm finding many things expressed by various people from their perspective that just taking their perspective at face value based on how it's put forth, I can say, yeah, I can see where they arrive at that. The one thing I can't see, though, is how anyone can come up with the idea that enslaving humanity is a good idea. I can't see how that proposal can be perceived at all as benevolent, as loving, as kind, as truthful. I see a masquerade and an ever-increasing cascade of lies on top of lies being exposed, thankfully, because of the internet and because we now have media that we can virtually instantly know what's going on in other parts of the world through people sending pictures and whatnot through the internet. And of course, they're now trying to shut that down in many respects because it's exposing things that the elite do not want exposed. And why is there an elite? And why are the elite the purveyors of lies, the purveyors of injustice, the purveyors? They are the ones that put forth all of the crimes against humanity. They are the ones that commit the crimes. And we're finding that out. We're learning that. And it's a horrible thing to have to deal with, to realize that our leaders are malevolent beings in so many cases. And yet, many of them have been not only deceived, but put in a box where they've been compromised. And their fear is that if the things that they've been tricked into doing, or even appeared to have been doing, are revealed, it's going to pull the rug out from under them and take away all of their all of the good feelings that they could possibly have about themselves. And if we don't have good feelings about ourselves, we tend to project our bad feelings on others and make them the culprit, make them the scapegoat. And that's most of the time not true. And I wonder how many times we do that inadvertently, not even realizing we're doing it. And of course, I have to take myself and put myself in that position of maybe not really seeing the bigger picture for myself, which is why I went through the big changes when they took my house, because I realized that my security blanket now has been removed. And where I thought I was going to be able to have a nice road to 2012 and to the kingdom of heaven on earth, it all of a sudden appeared that I had to live in more of a struggling for survival mentality and an inability to even reach out and help others when I would want to help others, for fear that if I help others, I might not be able, in a bind, to pull myself out. And so you have to, think of what will happen if my car breaks down. How am I going to get it fixed? So anyway, these are all things that I wrestle with. But in the spiritual community, I find a strong propensity to deny anything that's perceived as negative, which makes the spiritual community and individuals therein judges of what is right and wrong, what is positive and negative. And remember, folks, without the interplay between positive and negative, physical worlds cannot exist. It is the attraction, the natural attraction, not repulsion, but the attraction of opposites that holds the physical world together. What lesson is there in that obvious fact for us to learn? We have a tendency to think that if we all thought the same, then we would be able to achieve peace on earth. And that's what the elite do. They want everybody to think like them so that then they can be at peace. But they're unwilling to admit their own shortcomings, that they even have shortcomings. I don't even know if they realize how insidious some of their practices have been throughout the ages. And most people that have not been involved in that, when you try to tell them that this is what the elite have been practicing, they don't want to hear it because it's negative. I don't want to deal with that. It's too much for me to handle. So we don't want our perception challenged in any way, shape, or form. We don't want to be told inconvenient truths that other people may know, but we don't want to deal with those. So we would rather just put it on hold till some future time, or perhaps never. And that's the problem. Then nothing ever changes. No solutions are ever brought forth. I keep saying it, God has to do it. And people tell me, no, Ron, it's up to us. Well, if it's up to us, as I see it, we're doomed. I've said that, and I get corrected by people in my spiritual community on a regular basis. No, it's up to us. We have to make the changes. Well, how can we, who want to spread truth, make the changes when the odds are so set against us with the things that the establishment is doing, and the chemtrails and the poisoning of our water and our food and all the other things that they're doing to make us not able to adapt to positive change and not even able to see the potential of making positive changes. So I face a dilemma. I search for answers. Yes, I'm the paradox man. How can I bring the opposites together in harmony so that we can all benefit from the knowledge and the experience of loving and being loved? Thank you for listening, and Namaste.